just don't do it. It's a nasty route.
Have you finished your homework yet?
I've been trying, but this is really
Why is your room such a mess?
I haven't been able to because I've been doing my homework.
Don't you get ready for practice soon?
Mom, do I really have to go?
I don't have time for your excuses.
Can't take this anymore. This is exactly what I need.
People who are bored and the people who are, willing to try something that might not be good for their body, those are the ones who are using it.
Well, I think it's popular right now. I think it's popular and they're available.
Hey Peyton, have you gotten everything ready for tonight?
Almost. Still got a few things left to do.
What are these for?
What? You can't tell me you've never popped pills before?
No, the only time I use them is when I'm sick or something.
Well, tonight, you're going to see they can be used in other ways, too.
The biggest way they get started is by being bored and following a crowd that maybe is using drugs. By getting in with other groups and feeling like, well, they're okay, I'll be okay if I try this, everybody else was fine. That's sometimes a way to get started. There are probably no certain gateway kinds of drugs or medications. Certainly alcohol and cigarette use before you're of legal age is kind of a sign that maybe you'd be willing to start. Marijuana certainly is a gateway drug to other things. I think that probably the way you get started most, though, is your own mental attitude that this is going to be okay.
Yeah, no, I would almost assure you that they probably don't. So I think kids start off using pills just because they see it as a quick, easy way to get high and don't realize how quickly they'll be addicted and how bad the addiction is. And by the time they realize it, it's too late.
They're readily available. You can get them at home. Parents will often have something after they've injured themselves, or a sibling might have fractured something and have some Vicodin left over. Sometimes friends will offer them at school because they've found them in grandma's closet. They're readily available in the street for sure. Sometimes people will go to a doctor and say they have pain and they'll get a prescription for Vicodin and they don't intend to use it at all. They're diverting it to make money. People can drive down to Mexico and get many things that we can't get here that are considered narcotics and protected drugs. The narcotics are ones that are not given out readily without a triplicate or a special prescription. And then there's a new trend that's kind of troubling, that there are these things called farm parties, not farm like cows and chickens, farm like pharmacy, PHARM, where people bring whatever they found in their parents' closet or their grandma's closet and they dump it in a bowl, and the expectation is that people will take a mix of it with alcohol. Of course, you probably know about raves and parties where people have brought drugs, so these drugs are everywhere.
Isn't that dangerous?
Heck no. The doctor wouldn't give them to you unless it was safe. Come on, think about it, Taylor.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
The public just assumes that they're a doctor and that they wouldn't be involved in criminal activity intentionally. The reality is that there are plenty of doctors that are just no different than drug dealers, and that they will sell prescriptions for a fee, and they're in it just for the money. The last case I did was a doctor that would meet young kids, 18 to 25, in Starbucks, and he would meet 10 kids a night and charge them $200 a patient, and he'd write them a prescription for whatever they wanted. So when you add that up, he's making between $5,000 and $10,000 a week, and it was always cash. So it's just money, and even though he's a doctor, he's no different really than a drug dealer, because the drugs like oxycodone is really just a synthetic version of heroin. There's no difference between oxycodone and heroin.
Doctors have a big role in giving them out, unfortunately. I think we need to have some accountability and be careful about what we're doing and count out what we're doing and have a sensation, at least when we're giving them, that they're for that person only, not being diverted elsewhere. But diversion of prescription medications is a big problem.
Hey, did you bring it?
Bring what?
Loosen up, Taylor. Everything will be okay.
Are you using that stuff from the medicine cabinet still?
Yeah? Just take it. You'll be alright. Yeah, my mom uses that stuff all the time when she's sick. It's completely safe.
Yeah, I think I'll pass.
Cold medication, and the stronger cold medicine is called promethazine with codeine, and that's very popular in other parts of the country, like down in Houston. It's hugely popular. It's just now becoming popular here, but codeine is an opiate just like everything else, and when you do it on a regular continuous basis, you will develop a dependence on it. And prometh with codeine, the kids will mix it with Mountain Dew or Sprite or 7-Up and drink it, and you drink a lot of it and you get the effect of any other opiate. But yeah, you develop a dependence and addiction just like you do on any other opiate.
She had OxyContin on her list, fentanyl. She went to another doctor and got some more OxyContin. She got some Zolpidem. She got some Vicodin. She went all over the place. And there are as many as 13 different providers. Here's physician number 13 that she was hopping around to go and get medications. So clearly, that person needs a drug contract where you say you're going to have one doctor and one provider and one pharmacy. If they don't follow that rule, then I just dismiss them from the practice. There's probably not any benefit for me to continue to write when I know they're going elsewhere to get these things. Don't mix the drugs with alcohol or other drugs unless you've spoken with your doctor or pharmacist about potential for interaction. Stop using it as soon as you know that you don't need it anymore. Don't continue and say, oh, I like how this makes me feel. I'll continue to feel nice for a long time like this. That's probably not in your best interest. Discard it safely when it's expired. Medicines do expire, and they don't really last too long after their expiration dates, and sometimes will give a bad or adverse reaction if you take them under those circumstances. And never, never, never take somebody else's prescription medication thinking, oh, I'll be my own doctor.
Oh my god, Peyton, are you okay? Peyton, somebody call 911. Somebody.
Oh my god, is he okay?
I don't know, he's not responding.
Roughly 1 every 20 minutes dies of a drug overdose.